Agency call, Senior Solutions agency call, I should say. My name's Joe Johnson. I'm on with Michael Mahalik. We got a great show lined up for you today. So thanks for hopping on. We're going to be covering our topic today is we're going to be covering telesales and mainly working like digital / we'll say social media type of leads. And we are in the process of potentially working on a new vendor. We don't have everything ironed out yet, so not quite ready to roll that out, but we still have a great options. We still have very good options as far as Facebook leads that work great for digital / internet leads. And then also Your Insurance Group, which has the real-time leads, and they also have the leads that are in inventory. The real-time leads, you can go on a Michael, can you do a one-time order with those, or does it have to be a recurring? Do you know?
Well, which one's on the digital, Joe?
Yeah, for the YIG digital leads.
To my knowledge, you cannot do a reoccurring. Now, I think they've got some options that you can work with them, but I don't know of them being reoccurring as it's sort of like direct mail that you have.
Got it. Okay, all right. So with the YID digital, how it would work is you pick out a state or multiple states and you place an order. If you're in Illinois, as an example, when you order those leads, they're really specifically meant to be for telesales, unless you just happen to get one that was in your area that you could go out and meet with them. You could door knock, I guess, the ones that were local. But primarily those leads are set up statewide, so they're really meant to be done virtual utilizing telesales. So what we're going to be covering today is I'm going to be going over the Senior Solutions, our revised, I call it revised, we're always making tweaks on things, so kind of a revised telemarketing script, one sit close. No Zoom, no webinar. When you're dealing with final expense, you need to keep the technology to a minimum for the client's end. So that's why for telesales, specifically with final expense, we encourage you to not use carriers that require an email signature or DocuSign or anything like that. You want to stick it to where either you, the agent, you're able to sign for the client in their behalf by asking them maybe a security password, or where you're able to do a voice signature. What a lot of these companies now, you can do an e-app and you get everything done, and then you call in to an 800 number and you just do basically a voice verification. They don't go through all the medical questions. They just verify information, banking information, the plan, and then they give you an instant approval right there on the spot. So this call is not to get into the carriers. I've already done a video, which I will do. What I will do is, I just thought about this. I will, in the description below of this video, because we are recording this, it's going to be on YouTube, I'll leave a description of I believe it was my top three carriers for telesales. I'll leave in the description below. All right, before we get into the call, I'm just going to do I think last week I forgot to do it, is our quotes of the week. I don't know if this is actually a quote, but it's I took this out of from Dave Anderson, one of the interviews that he did, and I just kind of transcribed it. So it's not like an official Dave Anderson quote, but it kind of is. If you don't know who Dave Anderson is, one of my favorite authors. I've got to meet him twice at different conventions that I was at. So just very, but I like it. And Michael, I'm not sure. Are you familiar with Dave Anderson at all?
I am not, but after reading this quote, I think I should get involved. The older I get, I'm starting to figure out life's all about time management. We've all got the same 24 hours in the day is what we do with it.
Well, you're familiar with John Maxwell, obviously.
Very familiar. Yeah, he's got an office right down the road from my house here in Atlanta.
Well, Dave Anderson is one of his disciples.
Wow.
So Dave Anderson's an old car guy. So what I kind of relate to is he tells a lot of car stories of when he was in the car business Then he went to go work with John Maxwell. I'm not sure all the affiliation, but anyway, he eventually kind of broke off and did his own thing, and he's written a bunch of books. The ones that I've read is, if you guys are interested, I've read Up Your Business, which is really good, and If You Don't Make Waves, You'll Drown. And then he also wrote a book that I've been wanting to read. He wrote, it's been out for a long time, and I believe it's called Run Your Business by the Book. And it's how to run a business based on Christian values. So he's he's a very super relatable guy. But here's the Dave Anderson quote that I really like, and you maybe want to Google this guy or check him out on YouTube. He probably has some good videos on YouTube. And he says this, he says, it's not the hours you put in that make you effective, it's what you put into the hours. It's not the days that you put in that make you effective, it's what you put in to the days. Working effectively requires a disciplined schedule and a daily game plan. And one of the things I like about Dave Anderson, because he talks a lot about things, things don't happen by accident. You can't wing it to success. And then he's got this other funny quote that I used to have on my MP3 player, that it was like, he says something like to the effect of like, don't wish to be better, work to be better, so he's really big on game planning and constantly improving himself. And I think you've heard me say before, Michael, the quote, or just like exercise, if you want to get in shape, you need to work out, you need to have an exercise regimen. If you want to improve your mental capacity, you have to have a mental workout. You got to work out your brain, man. That's why it's so important to continuously read and educate and go to seminars and associate with people that are in life where you want to be. So that's my, if you guys are interested, check out Dave Anderson. All right, so before we get into the script, Michael, let's cover some dialing tips. I like you can see my screen, right? The guy with all the phones there. Yeah, he looks like he's from that movie Dazed and Confused. He looks like he's
yes,
he's a little overwhelmed. Let me just make sure my phone is turned off. All right, let me get my notes here. Okay, one thing about telesales, and whether you're doing telesales or whether you are just booking appointments over the phone, you have a very limited time to build rapport, trust. If you're setting an appointment over the phone, maybe you have 90 seconds to communicate what you want to communicate. That's why it's so important to work on your communication skills and make sure is that when you're speaking to those clients, whether you're doing the telesales or just booking appointments over the phone, you've got to speak clearly. You have to speak with passion, conviction, and confidence. And the thing about it is that, when you're door knocking a client, they can see you. When you're over the phone, they can't see you, Michael,
yes,
but they have to feel you. You know what I mean? They can't see your compassion, but they have to feel your compassion. Does that make sense?
It does, especially when you have 50% of communication being nonverbal. That's why your tonality is just so important over the phone, because they can't see your nonverbal communication, but they can feel through that tonality. Your
tonality, your voice inflection. Now, one thing about telesales is that, what I like to say is you have to have controlled enthusiasm. Like, you want to be enthusiastic, but you don't want to come off the phone like super bubbly and super excited that you sound like a telemarketer. Okay. It should be a very, deliberate type conversation. It's like when you go to the, doctor or the nurse, or the nurse practitioner. They come in and they say, "Oh, how you doing, Mr. Johnson? How's your day going?" And they kind of, what brought you in today? And they just, with kind of you know, they have confidence, kind of an authoritative type position. And that's kind of a position you want to put yourself in, is that you can, you know, not that you're trying to control the client, but you're trying to control the pace of the communication. So you want to speak with great voice inflection. Let the client hear the emotion in your voice. And one of the big advantages, I think, you know, with every type of sales, whether you're doing face-to-face, which, by the way, we're not advocating, if you're selling face-to-face, we're not advocating, hey, you should quit that and do telesales. As you know, Senior Solutions, man, we love our face-to-face business, okay? But there are, Michael, I mean, there are a lot of agents out there that want to do telesales. So, you know, that's why we've been doing more and more training on telesales. Well, let me put it to you this way. I think face-to-face sales is, you're going to have a higher conversion ratio per lead than you probably will with, well, definitely than with digital leads or selling over the phone.
100%.
Right. So to say that is, in digital leads are on average somewhere between half to about a third for fresh leads, are about half to a third the price of a final expense leads. And I would say on average, they're probably about half or a third as effective. Would you agree with that, or conversion ratio?
No ifs, ands, and buts about it.
So all that means is you need twice as many leads. Okay. So I guess my point is that if you're taking 20 direct mail leads a week, don't expect that you can go to telesales and take 20 digital leads and have the same business. You may need 50 or 60 leads a week to make the same amount of sales as that you would on 50. The difference is that with telesales, you can do it from the comfort of your home. But you still have to have that super disciplined schedule. And I think that's why so many agents, they fail at the telesales, is that they don't put in the hours, or, you know, they only buy the cheap leads, you know, the aged leads from the aged lead store, whoever you're getting your aged leads from, and you think you can make a living off of that. Well, those are honestly meant to be supplemental leads. Now, if you're buying, you know, if you've got an auto dialer and you're buying, let's say 200-300 leads a week, and you're constantly, man, you're just like you're letting that auto dialer run for, you know, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, and you really pound it out, maybe you could pound it out with age leads. But what you probably find out is that you could get by with a lot less leads and a lot less time if you worked in a lot of the newer, fresher digital and social media leads. Does that make sense? The other thing too, Michael, with telesales, which a lot of agents like, is that there's no windshield time, there's no wear and tear on your car. You don't get no-showed. You don't make an appointment, and then, you know, you don't book an appointment over the phone and you drive an hour and they're not there. The kind of convenient thing with telesales is that you get them on the phone and you close them right then and there. Here's what I'll tell you about telesales. Here's another tip, is that there ain't no be-backs. Like, you know, if they're absolutely 100% not available to talk right there, yes, and, you know, there's nothing you can do other than to schedule an appointment in the future, go ahead and schedule it. My guess is 95% of the time, you'll never get them on the phone again. Just like the face-to-face sales, is that with telesales, it's got to be, you've got to perfect the one sit close. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's the script that we're going to be working on, Michael, is the one sit close. To go along with that, because it is a one sit close, you can't be on the phone with someone for 5 hours or 3 hours or even an hour. You got to be able to quickly, you know, make your point with your script, get to the qualifications as quickly as possible, get them the quote, get onto your software and get that. You want to be in and out in less than an hour. Would you agree with that, Michael?
You better believe you've got to make it happen on Telesales. It's a totally different creature.
Absolutely. All right, here's a couple other things I just want to mention. Whether you're calling for preset appointments, face-to-face or telesales, don't be afraid to start early. 8 o'clock. Okay, start at 8 o'clock. If your schedule will allow, no later than 8:30. Don't be afraid. I wouldn't call any earlier than 8. Just be cautious of the area codes that you're in. So like if you're East Coast and you're calling at 8 o'clock, remember that's 7 o'clock Central Time. So if you're calling people in Illinois, you may piss somebody off if you call them at 7 o'clock in the morning. But 8 o'clock, perfectly been fine. I've never had anybody yell at me for calling them at 8 o'clock. That's when I start mine. Try the weekends. Saturday morning is one of the best times to get a hold of people, whether you're doing telesales or preset appointments. 8 o'clock Saturday morning, start dialing those leads. Sunday evenings, about 4:30. Call in the evening. Call about 4 or 5 hours. Call from 4:30 to 8:30 Sunday evening. You'll get a lot of people connect right there. A lot of times you can make a sale right over the phone. Also, as long as you're not using an auto dialer and you're dialing the newer digital leads, or, you know, and this goes for face-to-face sales too, make sure that you're triple dialing and sometimes even quadruple dialing your leads. What that means, if you're manually dialing your numbers, you push in the numbers on your phone, you call it, you let it ring, 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 ring. You purposely hang up, let it sit, make sure it disconnects, push redial, do that minimum of 3 times. You will be surprised the people that will pick up on the third ring. They're not going to be pissed off at you. And here's the thing I found, Michael, if they pick up on the third ring and they're like all pissed off and grumpy, they're just a pissed off person. You know what I mean? They were going to be pissed off anyway, whether they picked up, and first of all, they wouldn't have picked up on the first ring. So at least you can have you have the, not confidence, but you have the, at least you were able to eliminate that lead. Because you remember, at the end of the day, we're professional sorters. That's what we're doing. We're sorting through the leads to identify who is it that we want to have conversations with, who is it that is really, truly interested in protecting their family. I'm not interested in doing business with pissed off people that are grumpy. There's plenty of people out there. There's plenty of nice people that are so nice over the phone and in person that you can make tons of sales. You don't have to deal with nasty, grumpy people.
And Joe, if I can say something real bit quick about the triple dial, what we're doing here is we're doing what's called a pattern interrupt. You know, the normal way people in America handle calls they don't notice is they don't pick up the first time. The second time you call back without leaving a voicemail, yes, they're going to start wondering who you are, but they're still probably not going to pick up then either. You're normally not going to start seeing traction to the third, fourth, or even fifth call. Well, then at that time, it's going through their minds, this is my grandkids, is one of my relatives had an accident, I wonder why this person keeps calling me. And then when you throw in the fact that you call on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon when people really don't expect you to call, you truly can get people to pick up that you just wouldn't at another time. So triple dial, especially in modern day America, is almost crucial to be successful in telesales.
Yeah, I agree. Another tip, and you just made me think of something. You're talking about the pattern interrupt. I forgot to write that down as a tip. We covered that in an appointment setting. If you go back and check out the appointment setting, we talk about about pattern interrupts. Try to use a local area code if you can. You can, if you're calling out of state, sometimes an out of state number works better, but you can also get a Google Voice number. You can, get the area code that you want. So try using a local area code for the numbers that you're dialing, especially if you're dialing out of state. If you're in a big metro area like Chicago, man, we've got, Michael, I don't know. We probably have there's probably 5 area codes.
So at least we got 4 or 5 just here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, so so it's not, so it's not that big of a deal, but it can help. The other thing too that I want to talk about is breaking, and I'm trying to explain this because I was talking to an agent yesterday about it. Is breaking your leads down into smaller batches, especially if you're working, especially if you, so here's the tip, I guess. If you're buying, this would more go for like aged leads, Michael. So if you buy a batch of leads, aged leads, I would recommend, buy minimum 100 aged leads. It could take you all day to dial through 100 leads, right?
Yes.
So what I was telling this agent, what I recommend, what's more effective is if you got a batch of 100 leads, as an example, these would be aged leads, not brand new, the crisp leads, the aged ones. Let's say if you got 100 leads, break those leads down, sort them into piles of 20 or 25. Okay, so you got 4 separate piles. So in other words, you don't have this big daunting stack of 100 leads. And then what I recommend is take that smaller stack of leads, 25, and call through those leads, triple dialing every single lead, and it should take you no more than an hour. Okay, just depends on, now if you make a connection and you sell, obviously it's going to take longer, but I'm talking about just dialing through those leads, depending on your connections. You should be able to get through 25 leads in an hour. My recommendation is once you dial through those leads once, don't move to the next batch. Call that same batch. And what I will do is I will call through, I'll try to get through the same batch of leads 3 times. Okay. So what that means, Michael, on someone's ID, within 3 hours, they may see 9 phone calls from the same number. Okay. So you're more likely to get a call back. Like if I missed a call, like if I'm just trying to ignore somebody, they called me 9 times. Michael, I just may call them back.
I agree. I'm the same way because again, you're going to want to watch it.
What I have found is it's better to work with smaller batches of leads than to say take a big stack and try to get through, call every lead once, because you may or may not get through all. You probably get through all 100 in a day. It's probably about the most you could do. But so work through those smaller batches and go through them that way, and then work that for the week and see what you can get out of them. Okay. Now, if you're using an auto dialer, then what you would want to do is you want to put those in your auto dialer. You'd want to separate those, and you can do the same thing with an auto dialer. You would just need to separate them in batches. The only difference is an auto dialer isn't going to do triple dial. Okay, it's only going to call them once and move into the next one, the next one. But you can, with your auto dialer, when you load up your leads, you can name them and you can put them into different batches. So you're not calling on 100 leads, you're only calling on 25, and then you could set it up to repeat. So you can really burn through those leads pretty quick, get through a lot of numbers with the auto dialer. Let me see if I've got anything else.
Okay. The activity, like Grant Cardone says, you better be 10xing it when you're telesales.
Yeah, you really got to be committed. You got to be all in, and to think that you just got to, here's the thing, you're self-employed, but you got to treat it like a job. You got to treat it like a 9 to 5. Like you put in 8 hours. Can you work an 8-hour day? If you're only doing this, if you're half-assing it and you're only working really like an hour or 2 a day, you're really not going to have, you're going to have very limited success. The other thing too, and we're not going to get into a lot of this call is not meant to handle a bunch of rebuttals or stuff like that, but I do want to handle, I do want to talk about the pattern interrupt, Michael, because you did mention it. And one thing that's very powerful is also a pattern interrupt. Yeah, the dialing the 3 times you know, you're catching them off guard. The other thing too, Michael, is when I'm calling somebody, and whether it's for a preset or I'm trying to do telesales, if instantly I'm getting rejected and they're saying, oh, I'm not in, like they're saying I'm not interested, take me off your list, immediately that's when you want to call a timeout or do a pattern interrupt.
Yes.
So like if that were you, instead of just like hanging up, say, Michael, don't hang up. I'm not a telemarketer. I'm not trying to sell you something over the phone. That is a pattern interrupt. So because you're catching them off guard, you're like, oh, I thought you were telling. No, Michael, I don't make random phone calls. Okay. Here's the reason why. My name's Joe. I'm with the state license. I'm a field underwriter for Senior Solutions. We're the state licensed agent that's been assigned to get you the information you requested. If you may recall, Michael, last week you were on the internet searching for information about final expense. You had requested information on a $10,000 benefit, and you named your wife Teresa as the beneficiary. I'm assuming that rings a bell, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so before someone can just like hang up and get you off the phone, call a timeout. You can say timeout, Michael, timeout. Don't hang up. I'm not a telemarketer. That's a pattern interrupt. If someone said that to me, like if I get a call and you know it sounds like to me like oh, I'm not interested, and they say, Joe, timeout. Don't hang up. I'm not a telemarketer. Am I going to hang up?
No.
I'm going to stay on the phone. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a telemarketer. No, I'm actually getting back in touch with you. Okay. Michael, before we get into the actual script, which I really want to get into this because I've been practicing it. I was a little rusty, to be honest with you. We got about a half an hour to cover that, which is plenty of time. But before we move into the script, any other little nuggets or tips that you want to give on effective dialing, whether it's for telesales or preset appointments?
I think you've hit the main point. Most people fail in telesales because they underestimate the amount of leads they're going to have and the amount of dials they're going to need to make. The other thing is they don't have their own place in their house that they can get away from the rest of the family. You need to find your special place in the house. You need to get your family on the same page, your kids, your wife, your mother-in-law, whoever lives with you, and let them know that during that time you cannot be disturbed. You know, a friend of ours, Mr. Avi, would tell me, Joe, when he'd even have relatives coming to town, he never changed his dial time. His dial time was Saturday morning and Sunday nights, and he didn't hear who came in. So you need to religiously keep that time period. And like you said, Joe, pretty much commit to almost a 40-hour week of doing this. This is not for the faint of heart. You will get results, but it's just a lot more activity, probably double the triple the activity that you would need out in the field. The amount of people you've got to contact.
Yeah, and I know everyone says treat it like a business, but you really got to treat it like a job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because until you're running a big agency and you have a lot of agents under you, you're self-employed. You are an agency of one. You are in self-employed. You are the employee of your business. And if you're not working, your business ain't working. Okay. And if you're interested in building a team, man, you got to set the example. Who's going to follow somebody that couldn't even do it themselves? Next thing, real quick, I just want to just talk about if you are looking for an auto dialer, Phone Burner is probably the best one out there. Pretty affordable. I think you can do a free trial. Otherwise, it's about $150 a month, I think, for the Phone Burner. The one tip I will give you is that when I'm calling fresh digital leads, and we're talking about using the Phone Burner for telesales, don't use a Phone Burner for direct mail leads. Okay, you need to call those old-fashioned. You need to call them manually. First of all, you're probably not getting more than 35 leads a week anyway. Okay, so If you can't dial 35 leads a week, if you need an auto dialer for 35 leads a week, something's wrong. Okay. So the phone burner is I would only use it for aged leads where you're buying a couple hundred in a batch. Okay. Or my fresh digital leads that go a week or two that are unresolved. Okay, so I've called them multiple times. They just can never get them picked up. I can't door knock them because they're too far away. Yeah, then I'm going to upload that information into the phone burner to have that. But I do not recommend a phone burner or a dialing system if you're buying fresh digital leads, because you lose the effectiveness of not being able to triple dial. Does that make sense, Michael?
It does. So triple dial is crucial, ladies and gentlemen. Without that, you're not going to succeed.
Right. And if you're only getting fresh leads, fresh digital leads, chances are you're not getting more than 40 to 50 leads a week anyway. That would be a pretty substantial order, 50 leads a week. You can easily manually dial 50 leads a week. You don't need an auto dialer for that. All right, moving on. All right, I got a lot going on this page. So as you guys know, this is a live training call. It's the Friday Senior Solutions Agency call. We do record these. We do put them on our YouTube channel. So if you are finding us on YouTube, if you're checking us out and you're interested in getting more information on our training, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, do me a favor, give us a thumbs up, like the video. If you're interested in contracting opportunities, or if you're interested in getting one-on-one coaching with me, I put my number down there, the 630 number. You can either text it or you can just call me direct, but we certainly would love to hear from you. And also, one last thing, if you have any comments that you want to leave in the comment section, feel free to leave in the comment section. I typically don't respond to the comments on the videos. So if you're looking to communicate, best way to do that is to just give me a call or shoot me a text. All right. All right, Michael, with that, this is the script, okay? Which, by the way, guys, is available on our website, seniorsolutionsagents.com. Go under agent resources, go to scripts, it's in there. Now, what Michael and I are going to do is we're going to role play the script, and we're going to do it uninterrupted. Michael's going to be the client, I'm going to be the agent. Now, I admit I am a little bit rusty, but I am going to try to get through this script unbroken, and Michael without any interruptions, meaning I'm not going to stop and explain anything or say, this is why I did this or that. I'm just going to go through the whole script from front to start and all the way to the point where I'm asking you for your social security number, okay? By the way, Michael, don't give me your real social security number, okay?
I will not.
Or your real banking information. So once I go through the script, and I just want to show you how I do it, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to explain why I did maybe some of the things, or we can open it up to questions too. But before we get started, I want to set a timer real quick, just see how long I never time this, so I don't know exactly how long it takes. Obviously, we're not going to go through the full e-application process. You give it another 15 minutes for the e-application process. I just want to see how long it takes us to get through the scripts. So let me get the, we want to do it as a stopwatch. All right. All right, Michael, so you're going to be the, I don't know why I'm a little nervous, but anyway.
No problem, brother.
What's that?
No problem, brother. I got your back.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so you're going to be the client, right?
Okay.
And this is a, by the way, this is a we'll just assume this is like a YIG. It's a digital internet lead, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna hit start and then do ring, ring, okay?
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Michael?
Yes, this is he.
Michael, this is Joe. I'm actually getting back in touch with you. It's in regards to your online request for information about the state-regulated burial and final expense programs that are approved here in Illinois. Now, Michael, this is the one that was asking you for your beneficiary. You had put down your sister, Elizabeth. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, Michael, like I said, my name's Joe, and I'm the state licensed field underwriter that's been assigned to get you the information that you requested. But before I go any further, Michael, I just need to verify the information that you filled out on the form. You had listed your date of birth as 12/27/1965. Is that correct?
That is, sir.
All right. And I see your address here is 1227 Maple. Is that still correct?
That
Michael,
is.
okay, it's still correct. All right, perfect. Now, like I said, Michael, it's my job to make sure we get you the information you requested. Now, just because of everything that's going on, Michael, with the coronavirus, and we're just trying to we want to keep our seniors safe as well as all of our employees. So right now, Michael, we're doing everything over the phone, meaning we're not going to have an agent or anybody come out to your house to talk to you. Are you okay with that?
I am. I really appreciate that. Yes, sir, I am.
All right, no problem. Now, Michael, I'm assuming that when you did request this information, that your main concern was that you just wanted to make sure is that when you do pass away, you're not leaving your family with a financial burden. Is that correct?
That is, sir.
Okay. And Michael, I also see here, it looks like you're requesting for information on a face of amount of 10,000. Is that right?
That is.
Okay, all right. So what I'll do, Michael, is let me give you information on the $10,000 benefit that you had requested, but I'm also going to give you information on a few other options as well, okay?
Okay.
All right. And also real quick, Michael, I wanted to ask you, out of curiosity, are you familiar or do you know how these state regulated plans work?
I do not.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just take a minute to explain. The first thing I want you to know, Michael, is that I don't work for an insurance company. I work with Senior Solutions, and we're a state licensed agency that's been assigned to get you the information. So simply what I'm going to do is just ask you a few simple health questions, and then I'll be able to identify which program is the best fit for you. And Michael, if we can find a program that fits your needs, but more importantly, understand it's got to fit your budget. If we can accomplish those two things, I'm simply just going to help you apply for the coverage, okay?
Okay.
All right, well, let me just ask you just a few real quick health questions. Now, Michael, I know this may seem silly, but I am required to ask you by law, but are you currently hospitalized or do you reside in a nursing home?
I do not.
Okay, I didn't think so, but like I said, I am required to ask that. Now, Michael, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through these questions pretty quick, okay? If there's something that you have been treated for or you've taken medication for, just let me know. But the important thing, Michael, I just want you to know, even if you answer yes to any of the questions, it doesn't mean that you don't qualify, okay? It just means that I've got my software up. So as I'm asking you these health questions, I'm actually plugging everything into my computer so I can find you the best program out there. So the important thing is, Michael, like I said, if you answer yes, it's no big deal. Just be totally honest with me, okay?
Okay.
All right, next is, Michael, have you ever been treated for Alzheimer's, dementia, or ALS?
I have not.
Okay, have you ever been, do you require assistance for activities of daily living, such as eating, bathing, dressing, taking medications?
I do not.
Okay, Michael, do you use a wheelchair?
I do not.
Okay, what about a walker?
Do not.
Okay, Michael, in the last 12 months, have you been prescribed oxygen to assist with breathing?
I have CPAP, but I have not for any other reason.
Okay, just a CPAP. Thank you. Okay, Michael, these next questions are in the last 3 years. Okay, have you had cancer,
I have not.
kidney dialysis, or kidney failure?
I haven't.
Okay, any liver issues like liver disease, hepatitis B, hepatitis C?
No, sir.
Okay. Congestive heart failure.
No, sir.
Okay. Michael, have you ever been treated for any type of lung issue that requires an inhaler or nebulizers, such as COPD, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, or chronic asthma?
I have not.
Okay, very good. Michael, this next set of questions is, in the last 2 years, have you been treated for a heart attack, had heart surgery such as stents or bypass, or been treated for angina or chest pain?
I have not.
Okay. Have you ever had a pacemaker installed?
I have not.
Okay. Have you ever been treated for an irregular heartbeat like AFib or irregular heart arrhythmia?
Have not.
Okay. How about a stroke, even a mini stroke like a TIA?
I have not.
Okay. Have you ever been treated? I'm going to read off these things pretty quick, and then just let me know if you've ever been treated for any of these: bipolar depression, schizophrenia, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy.
I have not.
Okay. Michael, have you ever been treated in your life for any type of neurological disease?
I have not.
Okay. And then what about tobacco use? Do you smoke, chew, dip, chew on a cigar, anything like that?
I stopped smoking about 30 years ago.
Okay. So no tobacco in the last 12 months, correct?
Yes,
okay. Have you ever been treated for diabetes or high blood sugar?
Yes, I have been treated for diabetes. Like I said, very simple. I treat it by metformin, take my pill, and I was diagnosed after age 50.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks for doing the underwriting for me.
No,
Okay, so you've never taken insulin before?
I have not, sir.
Okay, and then at what age were you diagnosed with diabetes?
I think it was 53.
Okay, and then no complications, no neuropathy, diabetic coma, insulin shock?
No, sir.
Okay. Michael, are there any other health issues that I forgot to ask you?
Just some high cholesterol. Other than that,
What do you
fine.
take for your high cholesterol?
I don't think I take anything. I need to be taking things, but I'm not taking anything right now.
All right, so it's not out of control then?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. And then Michael, I know you mentioned the metformin. Other than metformin, is there any other medications that you're currently taking?
I'm not, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, very good, Michael. Well, that gives me a really good idea as far as exactly what you're going to qualify for, Michael. And I've got everything plugged in here, so I've got the companies that are going to be offering you the best program. But Michael, before I go over the programs with you, I need you to do me a favor, okay? And that is, I just want you to promise me is that if what I'm showing you over the phone, because I'm going to lay out some different options, but if what I'm showing you does not fit into your budget, I want you to promise me that you're going to let me know, okay?
I think I can do that. That sounds
Yeah,
fair.
because at the end of the day, Michael, we can make adjustments, and I promise you that we will be able to find something that will fit into your budget. And at the end of the day, I mean, wouldn't you agree at least having some coverage in place is better than not having anything at all?
My daughter's got to have something to take down to the funeral home, so I definitely agree.
All right, absolutely. Hey, Michael, do me a favor. I'm going to lay out the options for you. I think it would be helpful if you could write this down. Could you grab just a scratch piece of paper or a pen and paper to write this information down?
Yeah,
I'll wait for you.
Okay. Okay, I've got it.
All right, Michael. Now I'm going to give you that information that you requested about that $10,000 benefit, but I'm also required to show you what the maximum benefit is as well. So, Michael, based on your age, the maximum benefit that you could qualify for would be $35,000.
Wow.
Okay. So, could you do me a favor? Could you just write on the piece of paper, maybe on the left-hand side, just write down 35,000?
Okay. All righty.
And then Michael, I'm going to pull up the screen here. So Michael, what you would need to fund your program, what you would need to set aside on a monthly basis is $197 a month to fund that program.
197. Okay.
A month. Okay. Now, Michael, before I go any further, I totally forgot to go over the benefits with you of these programs, okay? So let me just take a second to do that. These state regulated programs, Michael, they have 5 features to guarantee to secure a proper burial or final expenses. One is that, Michael, all the programs I'm going to show you, the premiums are guaranteed never to increase. So once we get you locked in, that can never change for the rest of your life, okay?
Okay.
Also, the amount. So if you end up going with a $5,000 or $10,000 face amount, that benefit can never decrease regardless of your age. The other thing I want you to know is that the benefit is going to be paid to your family. I think we mentioned it was your sister Teresa, right?
Okay, yes, sir.
When I deliver that check to her for $10,000, it's going to be 100% tax-free. There's no taxes taken out.
Uncle Sam's not going to get 1 penny of it? Wow.
Not 1 penny.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing, Michael, is that this program can never be canceled by the company. So once you're locked in, it's guaranteed for life. Only you can cancel it.
Okay.
So if you stop paying for it, obviously, it can be canceled out. But if you, regardless of how old you get, or if you have any changes in your health. So if we get it rolling today, but 3 weeks later you have a heart attack, you don't die, you just have a heart attack, they can't cancel the program on you.
Wow.
And lastly, it does build cash value. And this cash value accumulates over time, Michael, and it can be used for financial emergencies. Okay.
Okay.
And then the last thing I just wanted to mention too is that there's no medical exams. Like we don't have to send out a nurse or a doctor to, draw blood or make you pee in a cup. That's why I call. And as the state licensed field underwriter, it's my job to ask you the health questions to help get you qualified for the best program. Okay. All right. So we've got the 35,000, Michael. That's the maximum benefit. What you were asking information on is the $10,000 benefit. What you would need to set aside on a monthly basis is $59.59 to fund that program.
Okay.
And I also want to give you one last option, $15,000, because I'm not exactly sure what your budget is, but if maybe you want to add in a little bit more to leave a little bit of extra benefit, a $15,000 benefit you would need to set aside on a monthly basis $87.07.
Okay.
You have all that written down?
I do.
All right. Now, Michael, you tell me which of these works best for you.
Mr. Joe, you almost hit the nail on the head. Me and my family were talking about $60 a month. Same as a cup of coffee at McDonald's, about $2 a day. So that $59.95 is exactly in our wheelhouse.
Okay, so the $10,000 benefit for $59, you're telling me that fits into your budget, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't, that's not going to take any food off your table?
No, me and my wife have discussed this many times, and that is perfect.
Okay, so it was your wife, it's your wife named Teresa, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm assuming you want to list her as your primary beneficiary. Right. Okay. God forbid, but if she predeceases you guys pass away at the same time, who would you want to name as your contingent beneficiary?
Maybe my daughter Sarah.
Okay. And what's your daughter's Sarah? What's her date of birth?
1/3/71.
Okay. I'm assuming, does Sarah live with you guys?
She doesn't. We're empty nesters. She's actually out the house now.
Okay. Do you by chance know her? Can I get her phone number and address?
Yes. 312-555-5555. 123 Main Street, Batavia, Illinois 60549.
Perfect. Okay, and then how about your wife's date of birth?
Ooh, I guess I can share this and be safe. 7/15/60.
Okay, and just confirm, Michael, we're going to set you up with a $10,000 benefit, and the premiums are going to be $59.59. Michael, when do you get your Social Security?
I get on the 3rd of every month.
On the 3rd, okay. Because these programs, they're based on your Social Security. So the premiums will actually be coordinated with your Social Security. And I'm
Right.
assuming your Social Security goes in direct deposit, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you bank with?
I bank with Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo. Does your Social Security go into a checking or savings?
It goes to a checking. We don't have a savings.
Checking. Okay. What's the account number?
111-222-444.
Got it. Do you by chance, do you have the routing number handy as well? I could always look it up, but if you have the routing number, that would be handy.
Let me see here. I've got an old bank statement sitting here. I'm sitting at my desk. Here it goes, 666-497.
Got it. All right, Michael, and so we can pull your prescription history and take a look at your MIB to get you qualified. What is your Social Security number?
Okay, 111-113333.
Perfect. So right there, let me stop. So that was the whole script right there. I got through everything. And at that point, when you're giving me that information, I'm already clicking on eApp and going to the carrier that I'm going to be doing it with, and I'm already plugging everything in. Michael, from start to finish, now obviously I haven't done the eApp, but I pretty much got everything I need for the eApp. You know what I mean? All I need to do is maybe ask a few more health questions that I didn't ask. I'm sure they're going to be no's, but I've got the beneficiary, I've got the contingent with her address. I'm assuming, the wife is the same address. We've coordinated your payments with Social Security, and I got your Social Security and all your checking information. Okay, take a guess how long that took.
I'm going to say 17 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right on. It was 15 minutes and 52 seconds.
Thanks.
All right, guys. So 15 minutes and 52 seconds to get through the script completely. And I'm already, realistically, I'm about halfway done with the eApp as far as all the information. So let me share a couple of screens with you guys. So what you want to do is when you're doing your telesales, you want to be prepared. Like you already want to have your FEX toolkit. You want to have that app already up so you can start. So as the client, as you're asking the health questions and you're right now, obviously if the client has a bunch of medical issues, maybe it's going to take an extra 5 minutes, so maybe 20 minutes to get through that. But Michael was pretty healthy, so we got through it pretty quick. But the point is that you want to make sure that you're able to, that you have you don't want to do the telesales. You get a client, they're interested, then you pull up FEX toolkit, then you're loading everything up. You want that loaded up just with a generic screen so you can click, all right, it's Michael, he's a male. I click on male. I'm going through the health questions. I'm able to plug everything in. So what happens is, how I did this is that I got Michael on the phone. I'm asking the health questions. Once I determine his health, the only thing he has was diabetes. These are the list of the carriers that came up that were number one. There was Transamerica, Liberty Bankers, Mutual of Omaha, and Foresters. Well, I don't want to do business with Transamerica only because I don't like their e-app, because they can only do email signatures. Mutual of Omaha is the same way. Even though Transamerica is a couple of bucks cheaper, I don't care. I'm going with Liberty Bankers because I know I can do an e-app with a voice signature. I know, and I can get an instant decision right there on the spot. So from here, what I want to do is, once I see, okay, I'm going to go with Liberty Bankers, and Foresters, they don't do it. They don't have an e-app either. Well, they do, but no, actually they don't. I don't think Foresters does have an e-app for final expense.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think they were working on it. But anyway, Liberty Bankers, been using them for a year, great carrier. You get an instant decision. Their rates are, as you can see, their rates are good. I'm going to click on compare while I have him on the phone. And then I'm going to do the worksheet. When I do compare, I can plug in that 35,000 so I can give him the really high amount, so when he writes down 197, then he sees 10,000 for 50. I mean, 59, not 59, that looks like a bargain
Yes.
compared to 197, right?
Yes, sir.
And then 15,000 he didn't go for. So once he's confirmed, like he says, yeah, I can do the 59, I'm automatically, as I'm asking him the questions, I'm automatically clicking on EAP. And when you get this set up, it's without doing anything, it's automatically going to log me in to my agent portal at Liberty Bankers. Then all I got to do is click Start EAP Live Mode. Okay. And I just I've already got all of his information. I know his name, date of birth, obviously his address, social security number. I mean, I'm able to start typing everything in, and you should be able to get through this EAP pretty darn quick. And then once you do the EAP, it's just a matter of doing you'll get a prompt to call into Aptical to do the voice signature. So a couple of things I wanted to add, Michael, okay?
Okay.
One is, and if you guys have questions on this, please call me. One is down here, and this is why it's important we get this recorded. You're going to notice I did make a change. So on the bottom, on the right-hand side of this script, where it talks about where I'm going to be giving the quotes after I ask Michael, hey, Michael, do me a favor, promise me if when I'm showing you doesn't fit into your budget, you'll let me know.
Yes, huge.
I go in. Nowhere in the script does it have where, I don't know if you remember, Michael, I kind of interrupted and I said, hey, Michael, I forgot to tell you about the guarantees.
Yes.
So I kind of did that it's not in the script. So maybe we could rewrite it, but I kind of did it on purpose. Because I don't know, Michael, you ever remember that show Columbo?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
like
On TV all the time now.
And like before he would leave, oh, Mrs. Smith, one other thing I forgot to ask you, where were you Saturday night or, whatever it is. So I'm kind of pulling a little bit of, for those that
I love it.
aging myself, I'm kind of pulling a Columbo. So by kind of inserting it, it kind of makes it not as like salesy or like script, you know what I mean? Like a sales pitch. Right. Like because I've already started in, like I'm already giving you the quotes. Like, hey, Michael, 35,000, that's the maximum amount. You need to set aside 197,000. Oh, shoot, Michael, I totally forgot. Before I go any further, let me tell you about the guarantees. Okay. So it's kind of pulling a little bit of a Columbo.
Yes.
On that. And what I have found is that the agents I've been working with, it's been really effective because it's coming off genuine, like, hey, you actually forgot it. And, it's not like, hey, let me, give you the sales pitch on why these programs are so awesome. The other thing too, is that when you listen to the recording, I just want you to listen to the cadence and the tonality that, I should sound more like, when I'm asking you the health questions, I should be sounding more like a doctor or a nurse than a salesperson.
Yes.
And that's, and the thing about it is that once you get the client, like you get in a rhythm of asking all those medical questions, when you get to the end, they're already used to like answering questions. That's why when you're doing telesales, you don't want the health questions to be like, hey, it's no big deal, it's nonchalant. You want to make it like it is a big deal, and that you are really putting yourself in a position of authority, and that you really are, you're a state licensed field underwriter, because that's what you are. So take your job serious. And if you come across like serious on the phone and very professional, when you get to the end, you won't get any pushback when you start asking for, hey, Michael, who do you bank with? Oh, Wells Fargo. Checking your savings, checking. What's your account number? Like zero hesitation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
if you have that type of if you can work on your tonality and your voice inflection, your emotion, and the way you deliver it, you shouldn't have any issues collecting the information at the very end. Now, I will give you a tip. If you do get resistance, okay, like if you have the client that says, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable giving me my social security number," no problem, Michael. We can go ahead and proceed without it. But when we call in to do the phone interview with the insurance company, you are going to have to give it to them. Okay.
Okay.
So what I could do in that case is I could do a Liberty Bankers voice application. So instead of doing the e-app, I do everything. Or maybe you don't want to give me your account information. Okay. That's kind of the cool thing about Liberty Bankers is that instead of doing the e-app where like I have to put everything in or I can't go any further, I'll just transition and do the 100% voice application. Does that make sense?
That does.
They said, nope. Hey, Michael, I understand you don't want to give me your account information. No problem. You don't need to give it to me. What we'll do is let me call into the insurance company and we'll get one of their employees on the phone and we'll complete the entire application over the phone. You can just give the information to them. And then I do it that way. And, then, that person's asking, they're asking for all the official authorizations, and it sounds very official if you've ever done one of those calls. And I've never had a client not give the insurance company their social or their banking information. Has never happened. But I have had it where they wouldn't give it to me for some reason. But then Michael, they'll give it to the insurance company and they know I'm on the phone. You know what I mean? I could write it down if I wanted to. But with that, guys, we're probably right at about an hour. So Michael, before we end the call, any last comments or anything that you want to add?
Telesales is more of a skills. We know door knocking is just STP, just see the people. You're going to get lucky 1/3 of the time just door knocking. Telesales is more of a skill set that can easily be learned. But ladies and gentlemen, over this weekend, I'm sure, Joe, you'll have this video posted soon. The learning skill set is all about repetition, making it a habit. So if those of you serious about telesales, I would be all over this video all weekend long, your notepad out, and then on Monday or Tuesday, leaning on Joe to help you out with the pieces of the puzzle you couldn't put together. But this is a perfectly put together video, Joe. Just all kind of golden nuggets. I like the last part where, a lot of times people are hesitant to give you their information over the phone. And you give us a workaround for that we can put them on the phone with the insurance company. But definitely, with this being a skill set, there needs to be a lot of focus on everybody on this one that wants to do telesales. Focus on this weekend, dive deep into it. Then early next week, let's work with those who are serious, Joe, and get them started.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thanks for hopping on. I hope this has been informational. Listen to it, learn, get active. If you need help, if you need coaching, give me a call and I'll be more than happy to work with you over the phone. We can work on your skills on the phone. All right, Michael, take care, buddy. God bless everybody.
Appreciate it. God bless everybody.
All right, my man, take care.